Hey everybody, Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular, is here to answer some questions about what you need to be asking your local bullion shops, coin shops, anybody that sells you precious metals. You need to be asking these particular questions until you really gain knowledge of this place that you're going to, or you start to really trust this place. Or depending on how this person tends to work, you might have to always ask these questions. So let me talk to you right now about questions you need to know and be asking your local dealer. All right. I just went ahead before doing this video and I decided to check multiple places online for their current silver spot price. And I ended up checking, as you can see, 5 different places. One said that silver was -4 cents. Another one said -9 cents. Another one said -10. And then 2 other ones said -22 cents. In no particular order that I look at these, but I did place them in just a, numerical order right there. So as you can see, they mostly were different besides the 2.22 cents. So it's very important when you go into a shop, right, to ask them, hey, how much is silver today, right? Whether you know or not, because it doesn't matter if you know what silver is, it's if they have a price for you that works around what that silver price is. For instance, if you open up your app, and I use, I think, the Kitco app all the time. If you open up your app and it says silver's, plus 50 cents, right? That sounds great. You go into the shop and you say, hey, guess what? I'm buying this. And you don't even ask the question, right? You just go ahead and start taking your money out. You don't know what you're really paying. And everybody, like I showed you, tends to have a different idea of what the silver price is depending on where they look, and that could cause some problems. In fact, I have this little bit of information right here that I got from JM Bullion. By the way, JM Bullion has a lot of information on their website for people that are new, old, whatever, into stacking precious metals. They can answer a lot of questions. So the question is, why is there a spot price difference between your site and other sites? And in this little information it says, there are many different spot services that dealers can choose to use. Since there isn't a single spot service, prices may vary slightly from site to site. The spot price is determined by futures contracts. As the name suggests, these are contracts for delivery at the point in the future. However, when you purchase from us or another dealer, you do not want your item in several months, you want it as soon as possible. Therefore, we must determine a price for the current moment. This is done by taking the price set by the futures market and performing a time value of money calculation, also known as an EFP, or exchange for physical. There is no agreed upon way to perform the time value of money calculation. Each company performs its own calculation based on their cost of money and other factors. So that is the reasoning why prices are different from place to place, as you can see. But that's what you need to do. When you go into any kind of bullion dealer, set that in stone right then and there. Hey, what are you charging for silver today, right? And not only what is the spot price, what is the base value they're going off of, you also need to ask them, how much is this particular piece over the spot price in your store? Because it's all well and good if silver goes up 50 cents and you say, hey, it's a day I want to go buy for some reason. Or maybe there's a down market, right? Maybe it's down 50 cents and you say, hey, I want to buy on the dip. What a good opportunity. And you go into the store to go buy one of these pieces of silver, only to find out that they're charging $4 over spot, where the guy next door is charging $2 over spot. So what is the better deal? Almost no matter what their spot price ends up being, as long as it's within sort of the realm of what the spot is going for, that's not going to be good. $4 versus $2, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'm going to go with the $2 over spot, even if they are, 10 cents over what the other guy considers the spot price for the day. So that being said, make sure you're asking those 2 questions. How much is the spot price today? Whether you know it or not, you want to make sure that they're on the same page, and don't get into an arguing match if their spot price versus yours is 5-10 cents different. It's not that big of a deal. What you really want to pay attention to after that, though, is how much over spot are you charging today. And depending on where you go, that is going to be very, very different. If you're buying silver out in the boondocks, out in the woods somewhere, it's probably going to be higher than some, area that has a lot more traffic, does a lot more bullion deals, has a lot more volume traded. So just so you know. Another question that I love to ask, and I really think you should too, is, when you're trying to learn about your bullion dealer, I'm not saying you have to ask this every single time, but, you go into a new place and just be like, hey, excuse me, how do you make sure that this stuff is real? How do you test your precious metals? If they come at you with something like, oh, we have a Sigma machine, or we, acid test, or we have an XRF machine, something like that, then you don't got to say, hey, show me the money. You can, sometimes trust them, I believe, unless, it seems like they may not have those machines. But I think you can probably, for the most part, believe them on that. But you want to hear something like that. What you don't want to hear, and I've heard this in the past, is the dealer say, oh, I've been doing this for a long time. I know it by look. I can look at the silver and I know it's real. Just look at it. I mean, it's definitely real silver. That is big, big mistake. I don't care how long you've been doing this. There are pieces out there that look so good that they will fool an expert, quote unquote, expert in the silver market for sure. So make sure that your dealer is having some sort of way of testing, because you want to know that your stuff is legit, because one day you might have to go sell it. And if you sell it peer-to-peer, which that just means, from me to you, and, I come to you and I say, hey, I have this silver right here for sale. Do you want to buy it? And that person goes, how do we know that's real? And you go, well, I bought it from a trusted source, from a guy that looked at it and said that's good enough, that he believes it's real, so based on his experience. I don't like that. I want to know that some, factor of a machine of some sort, some testing method, some tool was used. And sometimes it needs to be multiple tools, ladies and gentlemen. As you've seen in my other videos, it needs to be multiple tools to test these things, because one tool might not tell the tale. Anyways, make sure you're asking, how do they test? And again, you don't have to ask that every single time. Once you've broken the ice with a dealer and you kind of learn how they do business, you don't got to keep on asking them that over and over again. That starts to get silly at some point, doesn't it? Also, here's another question you really, really want to ask, right? Once you make your purchase, be like, hey, if I had to sell this back to you today, what would you end up buying it for, right? Just out of curiosity. I'm not saying I want to sell it, but how much do you buy this stuff back for? A lot of places may not want to tell you. And it's so weird to me that they're shying away from telling you how much they're willing to buy their product back for, right? But I think that a good business is willing to say, hey, listen, so here's the spread, right? I'm selling it to you for $2 over spot, and I'm buying it back for $1 over spot. So there's $1 spread right there. So that means that the shop ends up making $1 for every piece of silver sold, for instance, if that happened to be the scenario, right? Which, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you buy 20 of these, that's $20. The guy that just came in before you bought 100 ounces, that's $100. And the guy that comes in after you buys 50 ounces. So it starts to really, add up, and it starts to be important, obviously, for that shop to make money. But you definitely want to know that, because in that price, those fluctuations are going to change all the time. But you want to know how your business that you're going to works, right? How your dealer starts to do business. You want to know how that spread works. If a dealer says, well, I charge you $4 over spot, and I end up, if you sell them back to me, I'll pay you 15% below spot. You hate hearing that stuff. I mean, you just don't like it, right? Because you know that somebody is getting cheated. It's not my favorite thing in the whole world. As it's getting close to 4th of July, I think that the fireworks are going off next door. I think they're a little early, but that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, listen, you want to make sure that your dealer is doing good business for sure. And listen, you don't have to sit there and yell at them. You don't have to be like, I don't like the way you do business. But you don't have to do business there if you don't like them, right? If you're not thinking it sounds good, there's so many options out there. There's so many other places, whether it's online, whether it's local. And some of you don't have access to a good local dealer. I get it. We don't all live in Florida right there on the West Coast that has, 20-something shops within a quick driving range from us. Some of us live out in the middle of nowhere, and it's tough to find a good shop. But What's great about the internet is there's so many possibilities out there, and there's some small businesses doing business on the internet, and you can still build a relationship through just some communication here and there on the internet, maybe a phone call or two, and you can really build some information off of those phone calls or those messages, and you can build a good relationship off of those messages and phone calls as well. So it's all possible, right, with the beauty that is the internet. So don't be afraid to find some place that may not be local to you, but they are, maybe some kind of well liked or has a high review, or other people in the community have said, hey, this is my place, and they do business over the phone or online. Give them a check them out. So anyways, make sure you're doing those things. Ask your dealer how much over spot they're charging for things. Ask them what the silver spot price is today. Ask them how they test their precious metals. And don't forget just to inquire how much they would buy back the precious metals that you bought if you sold them today. Just out of curiosity. Learn, right? Education, knowledge is power. I got to go for now. I appreciate you for watching. Spegtacular is out.
Well, hello everybody. I seek to educate and entertain through my journey of collecting coins and stacking precious metals. I encourage you to subscribe, and please stay with me on this journey. I am Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular.
When I was a kid, we did this every day in school, and I believe we need to bring this back a little bit, and I'm going to start right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.